It's been a number of years since Sony has released a new flagship soundbar, but that's exactly what we've got today in this video, sponsored by Sony, taking a look at the A7000. Now, one thing you guys might notice immediately is that unlike the ST500, which was their previous top of the line, there's no subwoofer included. Well, apparently this was based on customer feedback where people were telling Sony, like, look, I want your top of the line soundbar, but I live in an apartment. Whoops. Realistically, I'm never gonna be able to turn the thing on anyway. So what they've done is they've essentially unbundled the two things. So it comes in at a whopping $700 lower price, so it's $1,300 instead of $2,000 US, and then you can just add your own subwoofer to it if you want, based on your needs. So we've actually got the higher end one, that's $700, which would put this combo right up at the same price as the old one, or you can go for the more basic one, which is $400. So this is the SW5, and even though they don't come together, they're supposed to just instantly pair. Now, one of the biggest reasons that Sony is replacing their old flagship, because already, if you guys remember, I've talked about it a fair bit in the past, both in sponsored videos and outside of them, it already sounded great. It had support for DTS:X, Dolby Atmos. It was a 7.1.2 setup, so it already had upward firing speakers, so you have those virtual like top channels, but technology has moved on and HDMI 2.0 has been replaced. Here we go. Man, this thing is a beast. With HDMI 2.1. So the new A7000 has support for 8K 30 Hertz or 4K 120 Hertz and all the latest devices. Oh, there's a little label here for which one is the HDMI input. Oh, these are both HDMI input. Okay, I can see why they did it this way, because everyone's gonna need to plug this into their TV via the HDMI out port right here, and then you can use it to not only replace that input from your TV, but actually switch, so it's got two HDMI inputs. In terms of the rest of the I/O, we've got an optical input, just in case your TV doesn't support ARC or eARC. This does support eARC though, it's part of the HDMI 2.1 specification. It's got an analog in, if you have an analog source you want to hook up to it. It's got a USB port and this S-Center out. If you've never heard of that before, I don't blame you, but Sony has a feature on their Bravia TVs that allows you to use the built-in speaker of the TV, and they've actually got ones that have that speaker built right into the display. It vibrates the display, so you can actually use your TV as a center channel with this soundbar. Not that you would necessarily need to, because this thing is absolutely bristling with Sony's X-balanced speakers. Oh, that's interesting. I had expected the grill to be removable like on their old one, but it looks like either it doesn't come off or it's something that you have to unscrew. How many of these are there? Uh-oh, yeah, it might not be intended to come off. Interesting. That's quite unexpected. Well, that's fine, we can still get a look at this. So one of the things Sony's done really well with their previous soundbars is creating a really wide soundstage. So you can see we've got our center drivers right here, and then we've got our right and left, and then this right here. This is what Sony apparently calls their beam tweeters. That's really interesting. They've got these small to large perforations here, and apparently what this is about is creating a more accurate and wider soundstage. So that's pretty cool. And then, yes, this is another thing. So we can't, we can see them. Built into this are also two subwoofers. So the idea is that if they're shipping it without a dedicated subwoofer, it should have pretty good bass performance out of the box. Confirmed though, they've got these little kind of spacers here to make sure this doesn't get punched in. This is intended to be run with the grill, not naked, but I'm still glad we pried it up so we could have a better look at that. Ran into a small problem when we went to set up the soundbar. Our Bravia TV has a stand that kind of, we would need a deeper media console, so we're deepening our media console like this. There we go. Don't try this at home. Do. Nice. Now seems like as good a time as any to have a look at our accessory package. We've got a remote, so you can use this to control the built-in OLED screen in the front, or if you have a Sony TV, there'll be an on-screen display that'll come up, so we should see that on this one. Power cable, HDMI cable, the 3.5mm cable for hooking up your TV as a center channel, batteries, and a wall mount. That's right, my friends, it's wall mount ready. Ah, yes. So the downside of using optical, well, the upside of using optical is compatibility. If you have a device that doesn't support ARC or eARC, then you're going to want to use optical. But the downside is that it doesn't support the same high definition formats that eARC does. So you're not going to be running Dolby Atmos over optical. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's funny because you think of like optical, you know, as like a high-speed connection, but that particular optical standard hasn't been touched in like 15, 20 years, yeah. So it's really, really slow. This soundbar has support for every surround format that you could want today. Dolby Atmos, DTS:X. I mean, those are really the main ones. When you're plugging in your soundbar, Sony helpfully stickered over the ports not to use on the soundbar itself, but you need to make sure you're plugging into the correct port on your TV. So I'm going to hit the one right here that is labeled ARC. Then for my PlayStation 5, I'm gonna plug that into whatever, HDMI 1. Okay, there. Now, any content running on the smart TV itself and any content playing off of the PlayStation 5 will all be routed through the soundbar. That's kind of the whole point of audio return channel, is that the audio can go out to the soundbar either through the TV or directly through the soundbar to the TV. It just doesn't matter. Hey, check this out. This is the SW5, and it's got this kind of like, I can't tell exactly what this is made of. It has kind of like a leather wrapped look to what I think is just a plastic mold, but I don't know, it looks kind of cool.
They call it textured surface.
They call it textured surface, apparently. Thanks, Jono. I mean, it is.
It's a real creative name.
Look, I can tell it's a textured surface, okay? Let's see just how painless this setup process is. I'm gonna power up the soundbar. Is there like a pairing button somewhere? That's what I get for pulling the stickers off. I misread the label and I plugged into the wrong thing. That's why there's no setup wizard. Okay, where'd that notification go? Yeah, Bravia notifications, setup, there we go. Reconnect the device to HDMI 4. Oh, all right. And we've got sound now, that's an improvement. Before we do anything else, I wanna run their sound field optimization setup thing. So it uses microphones built into the soundbar to optimize based on the shape and size of your room. I don't really wanna add the surround speakers yet, so I wanna do that after because I wanna experience it without them, but I do wanna optimize the surround. Okay, a loud sound may come from the speakers. Do not stand in front of the speakers during optimization. All right, I'm going. Okay, I am really impressed though. Did that sound like it was coming from above us or what?
It totally sounded like it's coming from above.
Okay, so normally I would be like, okay, well the product is working as it's supposed to. That shouldn't blow my mind. But Brandon, look up. That is a 26, I believe, 26-foot ceiling with acoustic treatment on it. I didn't think it was really gonna be able to meaningfully bounce anything off of it. But here we are. In the next part of setup, it's prompting me to set up Alexa. So it has support for Google Assistant, Alexa, and this is new. It supports AirPlay 2. So we're gonna try that before we're done here as well. I don't know if I'm gonna bother with Alexa for the time being though. Yes, Spotify and Chromecast. But that's not new. AirPlay 2 is new with this model. Oh, this is good to know. Both of the inputs on it are full HDMI 2.1 standard, so you can do 4K 120 or 8K. That's not a given. Oh, that's another thing. It has DSEE. This isn't a new Sony feature. They do have other products, but I believe it's their first soundbar with DSEE. So what it does is it takes low bitrate music, so from services like YouTube Music, for example, and it will on the fly AI upscale it or upsample it. I've tried it before, and it's not, you know, the same as just having lossless files in the first place, but it is a noticeable effect for sure. Now I want to hear the demo. There are two demos. It has a Dolby Atmos demo and then a 3D reality audio demo. That's definitely better than when we tried it before we optimized it. I think part of it is just that a subwoofer does add more chutzpah to it. Like, to be clear, it already had decent bass for a soundbar. Like, it was considering that it was a soundbar, it was good, but I would probably recommend, if your living space accommodates it, add the subwoofer. Let's try their 3D reality audio demo. This is really showing off how wide the soundstage is. One of the tests for that is if you're listening to music, you should be able to make out exactly where each instrument was on a virtual stage. And yeah, it's pretty clear. Of course, the best way to get surround is to add surround speakers. So we're gonna do that next. These are Sony's RS3S surround speakers, and if you find you don't get enough of a surround effect from the soundbar on its own, you can add a couple of these on speaker stands. They do need to be powered, but other than that, they connect wirelessly to the soundbar, and they should enhance the surround experience. The rear speakers are M5 threaded, in case you were wondering. So we're gonna go ahead and mount them to our stands. Something I should have mentioned, by the way, if you want to experience Sony's 360-degree immersive music, you do have to subscribe to a supported music service like Tidal. The light's green on that one. I think these might have just picked up. Either way, I want to recalibrate it for the room with these accounted for, though. Okay, let's do it again. Oh yeah, okay. Time to enjoy Linus's terrible driving. The challenge here is I want to hear what it's like to have a car coming up behind me, and I have to pass one for that to happen. You can definitely feel like the gravel kind of being kicked all around, coming from all around you though. That is a pretty fantastic surround experience. I think it's fair to say at this point that if you have another person living in your house that doesn't want to deal with the whole fussing about with inputs on a receiver or whatever, a good quality soundbar, it is really hard to go wrong. This is a pretty freaking sweet setup. Oh, and we didn't even try Airplay 2 yet. Let's go ahead and do that. Step 1 is have an iPhone. Step 2, try to cast. Step 3, Airplay and Bluetooth devices. Step 4, enter this code. That's pretty big sound. I'm at like 70%. I mean, that's louder than you would reasonably want to listen to in your living room, I would think. And I think that's about the end of the video here today. Thank you, Sony, for sponsoring this video and sending over your A7000. Looks like a worthy successor to the ST5000. And make sure you subscribe to Short Circuit for more videos like this one.